Okay, then. Boy, I just think that ends so abruptly. I really got to fix that someday. I think next year we're going to fix that, Scott.
Next year, yeah, I'll put that on the calendar as soon as it comes in the mail.
Yeah, because I have that little world clip that comes in, but I can't find it. It's somewhere on my computer.
Did you lose the world clip?
It's on my computer. It isn't quite lost. I just don't know where on my computer it is because my computer is a big world right now. Big space.
Big space.
2 terabytes. 2 terabytes.
All the spaces.
So Nerdy Rodent.
Good old
I
Nerdy.
went over to your channel and saw all this crazy shit about this newfangled AI stuff. And I watched a video that he had generated with some kind of AI. And it gave me flashbacks. Like, gave me fucking serious psychedelic flashbacks. Who does Nerdy think he is? There's no way that a rodent could be making those fucking videos. I don't believe it. You believe it?
So what are you saying, Speed? What are you saying?
I think he's fake. I think he's like, I don't know what he's doing. He stole somebody's content and put it up. I don't know. A rodent? Would a rodent
You think he's more like a chipmunk? You think he's more...
Ever since he spent some time in that radioactive goo in the streets of New York, him and his turtle friends have just been
really
over the top.
Incorrigible.
Okay, we got Jason, Jacoby, and we have Captain Desk, and we have Nerdy Rodent, and I don't think anybody else was.
We have Morena. Don't forget
Morena's with us. Hi, Morena. Morena's a
Every time I hear that name, I think of the Macarena.
No.
I think of meringue and what kind of pie.
Don't do that to me, James.
That's going to be stuck in your head all afternoon.
That Macarena shit, that was one of the many places where I lost hope in the human race. I don't want to be here anymore. Take me, Jesus. Take me now.
No. Jesus was probably doing the Macarena. Somebody needs to make a video about that.
Jesus doing the Macarena.
Wouldn't that be great?
Oh my God, that's a video that has got.
Nerdy, can you please make us a Jesus doing the Macarena?
Yes,
at least a GIF.
At
least a GIF. That'd be wonderful.
Yeah, so in AI world, I discovered that my son is working very seriously on various AI projects, and he and I kind of got together, and he showed me some of the stuff, and I got it working. And oh my God, programming right now, like being a programmer, this is the best time ever to become a programmer, because you can actually have a mentor and an assistant and like kind of like a code slave all at once in AI right now. And it is really good, and it allows you to program and be about, I think they did a test, and people that used some of these tools were 70% more productive. And it didn't seem to have much to do with what level they were as far as junior, senior, or intermediate. They just became more productive because they learned how to use this tool. Pretty crazy.
It is pretty crazy. So we should give some shout outs to all the wonderful people that are showing up here today.
Who else? Okay, we got Lori Hayes David, and who else we got?
Horror Energy. We have Grrr.
Stupid Horror Energy. Oh my God, I haven't seen her for so long. I miss you. Where's she? Where's Stupid Horror?
It's SW Energy.
Oh, SW Energy. I can call her SW now instead of Stupid Horror for short. Okay.
Yeah.
That seems more politically correct.
And it seems less fun, but yeah.
Less fun, yeah. Okay.
Just saying.
Imagine if our YouTube handles were what we went by in real life, and we got on the phone and said, "Is stupid whore energy there?" But anyway,
Nobody
of
rodent.
course,
This
it's
is
not.
your
It's no
dog.
longer stupid whore energy. It's SW energy.
SW Energy.
It sounds like a Texan handle.
Bree is here. Hi, Bree.
I'm looking forward to hearing St. Peter at the pearly gates yell out at the whole line of people waiting, "Stupid whore energy! We need some stupid whore energy in here.
Step
Can
up.
we get some stupid whore energy?"
That would be perfect. Gur Streams is here. He may or may not stream tonight, tomorrow around noon, and Saturday. But now that said, I probably won't. So yeah, Gurmania is always so definitive and decisive.
Southwest energy, says they are. Southwest.
Social
Anyway.
warrior energy.
Oh, so I guess I linked a few things today, and one of them was, well, Scott provided a link, and it is for, whoa, I didn't start my camera. Start the camera. Get my face off the camera. Face off camera. Okay. So this thing is psychedelics and your mental health, what you need to know. And I have not reviewed this one yet, but it's 24 minutes long.
Nor have I reviewed it. So
oh my God. So neither of us. So we're just throwing that out there, hoping the guy.
That's right. Hopefully it's not like poisoned. Hopefully it's not like one of those. Remember that old movie with Charles Bronson called Telephone or Telephone?
Yeah.
Where, you know, people would receive a signal and then they'd go blow something up.
Yep. Maybe it's one of those.
Hopefully it's not like that. Yeah.
There's another one, Dr. Nolan Williams, Psychedelics and Neurostimulation for Brain Rewiring. Huberman Labs podcast. But this place is, let me see, BSL, Brain Stimulation Laboratory at Stanford.edu. And they are taking volunteers with various mental issues. People that are, you know, suffering.
I've got various mental issues. I've got the whole gambit. Like, I'll go over there.
Yeah. In fact, that's what this whole show is about, James, is you and your mental issues. It's like,
nice.
Yeah. And I put that link there for you.
I need it too.
They use transcranial magnetic stimulation, which is they take magnets basically. Well, transcranial, I think they actually plant electrodes in your dorsolateral prefrontal cortex. And it's really kind of interesting. He goes through and talks a lot about the brain. And one of the things he talks about is that your dorsolateral prefrontal cortex on the left side for a typical person, not all people, if you stimulate that, it will depress you. Or no, I think it's the opposite. It makes you manic. And if you stimulate the other side, it makes you depressed. So the two halves of your brain basically have the same area, and they're working together to create some kind of a balance of mood stabilization. And if you're overly trained on one side of the brain or the other, you may end up with depression, or you may, if you have a problem regulating that system, you'll end up with bipolar disease. If you want to call it a disease, I think it's a human state. Anyway. And they're doing a lot of work with it. And he makes a point here, which is, let me go to a few things here. Hang on. There's something really important that was said. And I think it was said right here, but I'm not sure. We'll see. Okay, hit play.
If we can kind of parse out the different depression kind of presentations and see that clinically and also see that in the brain. Depression is the most disabling condition worldwide. What's interesting about depression is it's both a risk factor for other illnesses, and it makes other medical and psychiatric illnesses worse, right? So recently, the American Heart Association added depression as the fourth major risk factor for coronary artery disease, right? So alongside the risk factors that we know, hypertension, high blood pressure, hyperlipidemia, high cholesterol, and diabetes, high blood sugar, those three have been on the list for a long time, and depression ended up, being added to the list as the fourth one. And, really interesting, right? So in addition to taking medications to address those other three risk factors, we really have to be thinking about how do you treat folks with depression to reduce their risk of having a heart attack in the future. And, there's some of that's
now, just when you thought you weren't depressed enough, like now you got to worry about this.
being worked on now, but we
Right.
don't have a complete solution to thinking about that at this time. And then the other thing that's interesting is once you have a heart attack in the individuals that end up having a heart attack, the risk of having depression after the heart attack is higher than the normal population, right? And so a lot of what we're doing in the lab actually is measuring kind of brain-heart connections, and we can actually, with transcranial magnetic stimulation, a form of brain stimulation, we can actually decelerate the heart rate. We can capture that heart rate deceleration over the mood regulatory regions, and so actually a direct probe of that connection. So it's interesting. And so, as you said a second ago, it's a very disabling condition. Moderate depression's about as disabling as having a heart attack, acutely having a heart attack. Severe depression's as disabling as having cancer without treatment, and dying from a cancer without treatment. And so, it's kind of underappreciated just how disabling depression is in that way. And I think important as stigma is consistently kind of being reduced over the years for mental illness, for mental illnesses, then the idea that we can start really putting more funding and putting more focus at the federal level, private foundation level, whatever it is, at a given university to thinking about developing treatments.
Anyway, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Like my dad probably would have said, back when he was still alive, 70s and 80s, he would have said, "Oh, just buck up, dude. You're whining for nothing. You shouldn't be whining, right? Depression isn't real." All that stuff. There's that attitude that
Right.
still permeates a lot of people. A lot of people still have that attitude about their friends that are depressed. They try to give them like sage advice about how they could cheer up or change their lives or whatever. Well, what if it's a brain wiring problem, a circuit problem that they're having? And he goes a little bit further into that over here. I think this may be the session, but I'm not sure. I hope it is. Hi, Snack.
Set of brain regions that ketamine and psilocybin seem to act on these connections between brain networks that seem to shift. And so it refocuses the story on something that's highly correctable. And it's basically electrophysiology, and it's basically kind of recalibrating a circuit that is recalibratable, instead of I have something missing or I have some set of experiences early in life that are going to forever trap me in these psychiatric diagnoses. And so it kind of challenges that idea. And I think that's what's so powerful about Psychiatry 3.0. This idea of focusing on the circuit, because it gets us into thinking about psychiatry and psychiatric illnesses as something that are recoverable. People can get better. People, we've seen with our TMS techniques, we've seen it with some of the psychedelic work that we've done, where people are actually in normal levels of mood for sustained periods of time, or
within 5 days.
Within 5 or less days. And in the case of the psychedelics, within a few days, right? So we can get people out of these states. They're totally well. There's no drug in their system at that point. In the case of psychedelics, there was never a drug in their system in the case of TMS. And it just tells us that it's fixable. It's just like the heart. It's just like, it's just like an arrhythmia in the heart. It's just like, these other illnesses that it's like a broken leg. We can go in and do something and we can get somebody better. And I think what's empowering, and what a lot of patients have told me, is they say, I've gotten to, some people will relapse and need more stimulation or need more psychedelics or whatever it is, but they'll tell me, I've relapsed and I'm depressed again, but I'll never think about killing myself again, because I know that if I go get stimulated again, it improves, it gets better, I will be able to re-achieve it, and I can't, and I don't fear that I'm chronically broken. I don't fear that the chemical imbalance is still imbalanced. I don't fear that these things that I couldn't control in my childhood, you know, are going to be there and drive this problem forever. And I think that.
Anyway, that is really fucking important for anybody.
Oh yeah.
Any mental illness. And I talked about this a few months back in relation to alcoholism and recovery from that, and depression and mental illness, that if I had known when I was suffering, when I was going through this shit, that there was another shore that I was going to reach where I no longer suffered like that, it would have made all the difference in the world, especially with some of the attempts to end my own life. And it just knowing that you can change. And it seems like something in psychiatry in the last 5 decades have left a lot of people with the impression that you get screwed up in childhood and you screwed up for the rest of your life. You get screwed up by a traumatic event and you can never recover from that. Or if you have a chemical imbalance, that you're just going to have to live with that for the rest of your life. Well, they're saying, no, that's not the case. That, you know, there's hope. Who do we got here?
We got David. I guess I should call you Dave because you've been putting Dave on your label for like days now.
Has Dave been putting Dave on his own? Oh,
David has been putting Dave on it.
Oh, good. Well, that's good. Well, you should put not Speed, not James. Now I have to say not.
Yeah,
James.
now I have to change my label.
You know, I can see why they invented this whole name thing, because doing it the way we're doing it today is really could get complicated.
No, I want to do it. This is the old way. This is the old way, you know, back before people got their own freaking name. How selfish.
It is selfish to have your fucking
right?
license plate, you know, blurring out who you are.
Dave, can you hear us? Are you all systems go there?
Ooh, systems aren't going.
Sounds like systems aren't going.
He must be using Firefox.
Yeah, why don't you switch to Chrome, Dave? If indeed
may
that's
not
you.
Hear us.
Oh, you can't hear us with it? Okay. Well, maybe he's listening to the actual YouTube video.
Chrome works.
Maybe, but if he is, there's a delay if he does.
I told him Chrome works best. Anyway, this piece here has just a ton of information on MDMA, memories rule creation. So, okay, this one might be interesting.
Hey, Speed, if we wanted to watch this video later on our own, is there a place that we can find the link to it?
Well, on YouTube, they have descriptions, and in the descriptions on my YouTube channel, we have all kinds of links, including a link to this video. So it's in there, along with a link to that James Apperson guy who was blathering earlier about it. Some goddamn, I don't know. I got like a peaceful message out of it, like, oh, we should be nice to those Christians. It's like, no. That's why I named this stream "Atheists Are Superior in Every Way."
In every way.
So is this one the Transcranial or the BSL?
This is they're both okay. Transcranial magnetic stimulation is the name of the video. Okay. And below that is a link to contact the BSL laboratory, where you could probably sign up for if you're lucky, you could sign up for a study. And they may have local studies in different cities.
Right.
I'm guessing that they're trying to study as many people as they can. They're getting brain imaging, and they're figuring it out. Now, it's really interesting. This dorsolateral prefrontal cortex is like kind of in between the two halves of your brain, right around just above your eyes. Well, a little higher, I think, dorsolateral. So it's on top. And it's connected to, you know, the rib bone, which is connected to the whatever, but it's through a number of connections. It connects to the vagus nerve and to your heart, and it can actually, like, if they stimulate this area magnetically, they can turn your heartbeat down 10 beats a minute in like 2 seconds. Your heart will start to slow up, and then it speeds up again, and then they can slow it up again. So they can modify your heart rate by stimulating a part of your brain that's typically involved in controlling your daily movements and your action. So that tells you that people that say that they can use their mind to control their heart rate are exactly right. There's actually a way to do that. You can, depending on what you think, you can change your heart. I do that all the time in a doctor's office, and I can settle my blood pressure down from the rate it was when I was in the waiting room for 50 fucking minutes raging. And then I go and sit down and get my blood pressure checked, and I can bring it back to my baseline by just thinking about it, right? If I'm pissed off. Or being in the waiting room waiting for a shooter to come in and kill us all, which is kind of what we do these days in waiting rooms.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was bringing them.
Yeah.
That's just me.
Pretty dark, man. Pretty dark.
It's dark. I get dark.
Yeah, now I'm depressed, so I guess I need to watch that video again.
Somebody said dorsolateral prefrontal cortex again. Oh, no. Cold water training guy? Oh, no, I didn't know about him. Nerdy. I didn't know about him.
Oh, I've got another video for the description. It's another one of those sight unseen things. I just ran across of it. Finding lost gods in Wales. Wales, the region of Great Britain. So that looks interesting. So I thought I'd share it with everybody else. Well, it may be lousy, but I just wanted everybody to have it in case it's great.
I'm putting Nerdy Rodent's channel in there too, because there's a lot of really interesting stuff there.
Nerdy has a really good channel and he has a great speaking voice. He needs to rent his voice out to other channels as a narrator.
I would like to rent his voice.
Yeah. Okay, those are in the description. And let me see here. I want to check something out. Where did I find this? Was it a short? Ebsen. What did I read into? God damn it. Why can't I find it now? Oh my. Your own chatbot. Oh, there it is. Oh, there it is. Oh my goodness. We're going to have to put that on the screen. Play that.
Oh, yeah.
This gave me
all right.
That gave you some idea about what it's like to chew on some mushrooms, some magic mushrooms. That kind of, every time you close your eyes, this kind of shit happens. But let's see. Okay, first link to the Google Water Training Guy. I gotta check this stuff out. Cold Water Training Guy. What the hell? Cookies, accept all cookies, no problem. Man who climbed Everest in shorts can teach you how to control your immune system. Oh no, it's a man with his shirt off. I don't think I'm gonna show that. I protest. And then let's see, what was the other one that Captive Desk put out a little while ago? I think it was Captive Desk that put out a video. Somebody put out a video. Yeah, Captive Desk did.
Well, he put out a video of, I guess it's his backyard or something.
Romeo and Juliet.
I hate hell.
Romeo and Juliet. No, this is the EXO soundtrack or something. I'm not sure.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what that one is. I don't know why he did that to us. Yeah, trippy. That is trippy.
It's just the 70s all over again. So.
Oh, it's just so awesome. I can just watch this all day. It's just so cool. All those images transform and twist and turn and change into new things. Anyway, So that is one thing I want to talk about. How about them fucking Christians? Oh my God.
Golly gee, man.
Have you seen the conversation with JG I've been having on Randolph Richardson's stream where he said, how do you, I don't know, he was talking about, I was trying to, I was explaining my idea of perspectival truth, that whatever perspective you're coming from, you're going to find a truth in the cosmos. And he was saying, he was calling it relative truth or like subjective truth. No, it's not. Now, that's the interesting thing. Subjective has nothing to do with it. Just because you are in one place in the universe and you are one kind of a thing in the universe, and you're looking out at the universe, right? You are going to have a perspective, and you are going. Your sensory perception is going to give you a true picture of the universe according to the kind of organism you are and where you are in the world, what you're staring at, basically. Now, if you're staring at, say, a blank cardboard sheet, right, and you're looking at it from your part of the universe, you're going to say that's a blank cardboard sheet. But your roommate is on the other side, and he's staring at a painting on the other side of that cardboard sheet. Somebody painted a beautiful landscape, right? And he's staring at a painting, and you're staring at a blank cardboard sheet. You are both right. You're both getting a true view of the universe from where you are, and that is objectively right. There's objectively a painting and a blank side and a painted side, right? It's just that you have different perspective views. And now, if you were a raccoon, for instance, and you were staring at that, you would say, there's no food there, that looks uninteresting. And if you were staring at the painting side, you'd say, well, that might be food. Let me go smell it. Basically, because you were a raccoon and not a human being, you would have a different perspective of the truth in the universe based on. So truth is not just something that's out there totally or in here totally. Rather, it's in the relationship between us. And it blew his mind, his apologist brain, all to hell. And he said, well, that's circular, isn't it? You know, that's circular reasoning. It's like, oh my God, these people think that atheists have no grounds for morality, right? Like if an atheist is driving down the street and a little 6-year-old runs out in front of the car, that the atheist just looks at him like, oh, I'll just run over that. You know, just kill that. I don't really know what it is because I have no grounds for morality. And what he's saying is that if the Christian didn't believe in the Bible and God, that the Christian would kill the kid, that he'd run over the kid. That's what he's saying, which he doesn't realize he's saying that, but he's saying that he is like morally depraved, right? Basically.
How are we now, Dave?
Can you guys hear me all right?
Oh, yeah, I hear you great.
No, we can't hear you.
Yeah.
He can't hear you.
Okay, this really happened to me last night with my little sister. I was talking to her, and she was explaining something, and I was saying, yeah, and then she says, I can't hear you. Are you still there? And I said, yeah, I'm still here. And then she didn't say anything, and then I said, can you hear me? And she said, no. And then I said, Char, can you hear me? And she said, no again. And I'm like, what the fuck?
That's funny.
And then she said, well, I'm really tired. And I said, no, you're not just tired. You need to go to the fucking nursing home. I mean, it's time for the nursing home, man.
Yeah.
Can you hear me? No.
Yeah.
So what are we discussing today? I missed all that, trying to fix all my stuff here.
Oh, we're talking about Christians and morality and grounding and, truth with a capital T and truth with a lowercase t. And I was explaining my idea of what I call perspectival epistemology or perspectival knowledge, where you have knowledge of the world depending on what you are, what your past experience has been, and
right. So
all that.
This reminds me of the conversation between Obi-Wan or the ghost version. Wasn't he a ghost by then? I can't remember. Yeah, he was. And Luke Skywalker. where he says, Luke, you're going to find in life that many of the truths you hold to depend on your point of view. Where he was explaining why he said Darth Vader had betrayed and murdered Luke's father, and Luke was like, "Why didn't you tell me that actually is my dad? You lied to me." And he's like, "No, I didn't lie to you. It's a matter of perspective."
Right.
So,
yeah, as much information as you have about something is going to change your view of it. Now, are you exactly right about it? Like, if you knew everything there was to know about the cardboard with the painting on one side and the blank area on the other side, you'd know that it was a painting and you had to turn it around to view it, right? But just because you don't know there's a painting on the other side, that painting on the other side is in your unconscious, as people like to imagine they would call it. You would think it was just a sheet of cardboard, a blank sheet of cardboard. And you were right about that, because it is indeed a blank sheet of cardboard on one side. And there's nothing wrong with your senses. There's nothing wrong with how we sense the world and how we place objects.
Right.
If there was, we would be stubbing our toes on stuff all the time. I mean, we're really good at figuring out the universe and what's in there.
Just a point of clarification. I'm always stubbing my toe on things. So
Yeah.
Better example, please. Better example.
Yeah. Like I left something on the stove the other day and my son said, "I think you have an attention deficit."
Well,
yeah.
You should say what were we talking about again?
We?
What?
Oh, yeah. Oh, what?
Yeah.
We. What do you mean by we? Who are you guys?
What do you mean by we, homeboy?
Squirrel.
Squirrel.
Yep. I love when people give me a phone number out in the yard and I memorize it and then I see a squirrel as I'm walking in the house. Or they tell me a movie name to watch and then I see a squirrel.
Squirrel.
Yeah.
Squirrel.
Erase. For some reason, that just erases everything. I have no idea why. Oh, Captain Death, 9 p.m. Eastern tonight. Mark Reid at the Captain Death. Oh my God, that's tonight.
All right.
Oh my God, gotta link that. We give a linky.
Okay, I have. I'm preparing another link feed for the description because apparently Joel Duff has another video coming out tonight, which he very often comes out with videos. And this one's called Origin of New Genes, Pheromone Receptor Variation in Moths. So he's going to be covering new genetic information, I guess, which is a thing that young Earth creationists love to poo-poo and deny.
You can never create new information.
No, it's destructive. Mutations are destructive.
They have no idea what information is or how it works when they say that shit. Okay.
All right.
Mark Reid at the Captain.
Yeah, I would just encourage people to, if you've not watched Joel Duff very often, go watch the last handful, of his videos, and you'll see that he not only talks about young Earth creationism and its flaws and problems. He's really analytical with it, but he also presents really just amazing, interesting analysis of papers and things. So you'll always benefit from tuning into his channel.
I was just watching earlier. I was watching Grayson's debate with Dr. Crackers there.
Oh my God! I was watching that yesterday.
Yeah, the double header, and I had to take the time. Now I watch it on Grayson's channel, but I try to stay away from Standing for Poop's channel.
Isn't that great that Grayson does that, and we don't have to feel dirty.
Right.
I know. I feel pure when I mock creationists from his channel.
Yeah, but today I actually I had them both on. I went to Standing for Poops, and the only reason why I did that is because I wanted to read the stupidity in the chat, which don't ask me why I did that, but I did. And I find those people, and of course, they're all young Earth creationists in the chat, every single one of them, right? And they're just the things that they write in there. And yeah, I mean, you know how those guys are. They just hand wave everything away. Anything that Grayson says, and any any evidence that he brings or anything that he discussed, they just hand wave it away. And oh no, that's all just assertions or whatever. They just say really stupid stuff. I find these people to be pretty ignorant, pretty bad.
Yeah, they're bad faith actors.
So
Yeah.
Captive Desk has has a Nessie sighting, Loch Ness monster here.
Yeah,
he's proven
it looks like his little pond in his backyard. It's got goldfish in there.
Yep, that's pretty cool.
It's nice. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that Dr. Crackers. Okay, so he asked him, like he was talking about the heat that would be required to form I think chalk. All the chalk formations would melt the earth. And Dr. Crackers comes out with a skull of a crocodile and is like, oh
yeah,
with that Australian crocodile shtick that they do.
Yeah.
And starts going on and never answered any one of the questions that he asked.
Yeah.
And I was reading a paper on chalk formation according to the Noahic flood, the Noachian solution to chalk formation and stuff. And they were going on and on and on about these evolutionists think it happened in billions of years. Well, we think it happened on day 150 of the flood. Like in a fucking day, they think these chalk deposits were like.
Right.
Now,
like magic.
Oh my God. Like, where did all these organisms come from? And then he was going on with T. Rock about T. Rock had all kinds of theories about sorting, and T. Rock was trying to tell him, well, they're the animals that live on the bottom of the ocean, and they would have got buried first, and that's the Cambrian. He said, of course, ignoring the Ordovician and everything before. He said that's the Cambrian, and then there were animals on the coast, and those got washed off next as the floodwaters rose. And then there were some animals that were a lot smarter and they knew the flood was coming. So they ran faster and they'd be on another layer. And then, of course, you have the dinosaurs. Well, the dinosaurs couldn't fit between the trees. So the dinosaurs would have been out there where there were no trees. So they would have got washed off next. And there wouldn't have been any trees with the dinosaurs. And then inside the trees, you would have all the mammals, right, which could fit between the trees because they were smaller. And so you'd have the mammal layer. And he's putting all this together and he's talking about, well, you just got to listen to the physics of it. I got a lot of physics to explain to you. And he's got to tell you about what in the fuck is wrong with these people.
Right. They're not paying attention to their own mind.
I know.
Because if they were, they would notice that they wouldn't be making these arguments and these assumptions if they hadn't been fed a story from a religion, where they now feel like they're obligated to make the story true by reinterpreting facts. And I'm like, if they had never heard of the Genesis story, we wouldn't even be having these discussions.
Yeah. I think it was.
Now, actually, Grayson asked him that specific question I think at the very end. He asked him, now, if you didn't have the Bible and you didn't have that story, and you looked at the evidence that's presented, would you still come to the same conclusion? And he's, of course, what else is he going to say? Oh, of course I would. Yeah.
Right. So that's the honesty question, and then the lie answer.
Yeah.
So he fails the honesty question.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Here we go. These guys chalk in the Upper Cretaceous deposits, but they put that in quotes. So every time they talk about a time period like the Cambrian, they'll put it in quotes like, oh, no, we don't really, this is not a real thing. We're air quoting it, right? Like these guys think there's an Upper Cretaceous or part of the Noachian flood, and they're talking about chalk formation. And they go to great lengths to constantly refer to the Bible to get their facts, basically. And then they go ahead and reinterpret all of the evidence according to the facts as laid out in Genesis. And it just drives you crazy. And then But what I would like to do is steelman their Noachian flood, uh, and try to figure out how some of this stuff might have worked. Like, what are they thinking? Okay, they talk in here about the waters, the heavens burst forth and rain for 40 days, and then the fountains of the deep burst up. And they have, like, some of these guys have gone through the flood day at a time. So they're on day 150 for chalk formation. And they got a lot of this shit supposedly figured out. I'd like to look at what they got figured out.
Yeah, you talk about having a psychedelic experience.
Yeah.
You're sitting there inventing not only a flood, which is, it talks about a flood in the Bible, but then you're detailing every day and what happened to the animals in that flood every day, based on something that doesn't take more than a couple of chapters in an old book.
Right.
If I did that and it was in a non-religious context, my son would have me put away and treated for, delusional behavior,
Yeah.
some sort of thought disorder. I don't know, man.
Yeah, this document shows two things. First, that the certain features of the Upper Cretaceous period correspond closely with the biblical account of the Noachian flood around day 150. Okay, you guys know the Bible better than I do. Can we pull up some passages that talk about day 150 of the flood?
There's, other than possibly tossing out a bird to see if it flies back, no, there's just, there's no detail of Noah's captain's log or anything like that.
So they don't talk about the chalk formation.
Yeah. There's the epistle of Noah unto the chalk people does not exist. There's nothing about chalk being formed in the flood.
I just don't understand how people in 2023 can be thinking like this. I'm sorry.
Imagine toiling, going through all sorts of economic uncertainty, health problems, even to raise a child to adulthood and send them to college to take science classes, and they end up in a creation research journal talking about day 148. Oh my God.
Yeah, Standing and Poop had a guy on last night that was asking really hard questions to Christians. I forget what his name was, but he was saying, how do you explain why are you a Christian? Because of the Bible. Why do you believe in the Bible? Because I'm a Christian. And why are you a Christian? Because I believe in the Bible. And he was pointing out the circularity, but he thought, the wonders of science. He got a degree in mechanical engineering and then physics. And he was proving that science just, told you that the Bible is true, and none of those other books, the Quran, none of that Buddha shit, none of that stuff's true, because they don't make the same predictions that the Bible makes about science. And I turned it off about 20 minutes in because he didn't seem to be going anywhere fast. But this is one of those top researchers at these creationist institutions talking about he's been giving talks for like 30 years, been a Christian all of his life. He's never seen it any other way. And he's just got all of this apologetics for science. And
it's a great gig if you can get it, I guess.
I guess so. I don't know. I wish I could get paid to talk nonsense 24/7. That'd be pretty cool.
And once again, we need to know, what did Noah have to say about Gödel's incompleteness theorem, or Gödel's, or whatever they call them, Gödel's.
I think it's in there somewhere. It's funny. Funny Selden grabbed the Bible and slam it on the floor and say, "No mention of Gödel's incompleteness."
Now, how often do you think these guys either know they're lying or know that they're just making shit up, or do you think that they just have themselves so convinced that they don't even?
That's one of the greatest mysteries of the universe, right there.
Yeah.
What you
Yeah.
just, I have no way of knowing.
Yeah, that's
You-
right.
And,
I mean,
you
they're
can
going to
talk,
deny it, right? Obviously, they're going to
right.
deny it, and they'll say,
But I mean,
and
you can have conversations with them for hours, and you can never answer that question. You can never figure out whether they really believe what they're saying.
yeah, because the stuff that comes out of their mouths is just absolute nuts. I think they're absolutely crazy,
Yeah.
delusional. But yet so many of them are so highly educated, and you just look at them like, how do you become that way? Like, holy Moses.
Sure, but to be fair, there's a lot of Christians. In fact, the majority of Christians accept evolution is true.
Right,
You know, Earth is old. Humans have existed for hundreds of thousands of years
right.
in basically the same form that we're in now, et cetera, et cetera. So I like to remind the fundamentalists, I'm like, look, you guys aren't just an embarrassment to humanity. You're an embarrassment to the majority of Christians,
Yeah,
right? The
yep,
scientifically literate Christians. And as more and more Christians become scientifically literate, that's going to shrink the amount of fundamentalists that, percentage wise at least, in the world. And they're just going to be this really embarrassing little cult that even most Christians don't even want to talk about
No.
because there's just no future in
Well,
it.
do you
here's
think?
something that Morena brings up that you have to consider.
Yeah. Yeah, and what they do is, and I've talked about this, like when you believe something that isn't true, your mind will gloss over the details. It'll skip over them. And when you're confronted with any kind of details, you'll do what Dr. Crackers does. You'll pull out a crocodile skull and to start talking about something totally different.
Yeah,
You won't
they're just
answer
so
the
used to
question.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, you won't answer the question even in your own mind if you start thinking about it, right?
Yeah.
Like if I've got something that I really want to believe, and I've got these couple of fucking facts that counter that belief, and I will not even like those fucking facts will pop up in my mind, and I'll quickly sweep them under the rug as fast
Yeah.
as I can because I don't want to think about it. I don't want
Yeah.
to work on it.
Right.
Yeah, and that's
Sure.
what they have to do. Now, one question: what do you think the percent, like in our little community that we have here, which is good size, whatever? What do you think percentages? It seems to me it's mostly young Earth, right? I would say it's probably.
The Christians that we deal with here,
Yeah,
they
I mean,
they
probably
are.
good at least 80% of them, right?
yeah.
If not more.
Sure.
Yeah, that's yeah.
So Captive Desk did a video with a former. I think he worked for Ken Ham, didn't he, or something? Let me see here. Got the video up here, and that was interesting. And he says that many don't believe that yak stuff, so they just kind of go along with it. It's just, what are you gonna do?
Of course, I don't know what level of staff he's particularly referring to. I'll have to go back and watch the video. I think I saw the video, but
Yeah,
I don't remember what he said. But at the everyday worker level, people who man the doors and dust the exhibits and things, I can really see that because they're just poor people from Kentucky who want work,
right.
and they're getting probably less than market wages for their work. But as far as people who are like degreed and professional, I wonder if that applies too. That would just be something to kind of tune your ears in for a little closer.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Bree, I just had ChatGPT add Goodell's incompleteness theorem to my script. So, like, there are times when, like, when I've got a whole bunch of like shit popping into my head, and I'm worried about this and worried about that, and then all of a sudden I'll just get kind of tired, and I'll lean back and say, you know what? just chill and just kind of let things unfold the way they're going to unfold. And then I lean back and I just wipe all that stuff out of my mind. And I get this like immense relaxation feeling that I call faith. And I just have faith that the party's going to turn out okay and I don't have to worry about every fucking detail. And I just kind of like wipe it all out of my mind. And
I have an opposite version of that, but go ahead.
That's got to be with the Yeah, I know you were talking about it earlier. That it's called anxiety. That's what the PhDs do. I think they get that feeling of faith in God, and they put their hand on the Bible, and are like, you know what? Mm-hmm. I'm just not going to worry about all these details. I'm just going to go on doing the Word of God, and trying to save these poor sinners. And I'm just going to have faith that I'm right. Faith that I'm right. I'm right. I'm always right.
Sure.
Like I said on your stream when you were talking about how you got to practice being wrong or admitting that you're wrong. And I said, I don't get a lot of practice because I've never been wrong.
Sure.
What do we got here? Washington Post.
I cannot fathom. It's hard to fathom this. Dave, I don't dispute what Dave's saying here. Seth said those at the top mostly know it's BS, Scott Duke. It's hard to fathom, though, that you would go in and get scientific training in a particular field and be so cynical that you could go out and then, just lie about what the science says and what the right conclusions are and things like that. It's just amazing. That people could be so cynical and what wasted funds. I mean, number one, when they went through college, they took up some spot that somebody else didn't have or couldn't have. And then and I don't know if I said number one or A, but number two or B, all those funds were wasted and that could have gone could have been given to somebody else, but they really probably wouldn't have. But it's just disgusting. I just hate the fact that you have such cynical, twisted people trying to push what amounts to nothing but a propaganda campaign, a disinformation effort onto poor people who need the education in real science.
Right. So they're just trying to win a culture war.
Yeah.
They think that that's the best possible world for them. It's very Hunger Games. It's very dystopian. It's very, they want to create a world where they have all the power and the privilege and everybody else just suckles at their teat. And in order to do that, they have this master plan where they topple society and conquer it, right? Divide and conquer. And it's the real reason that they're anti-science. It's the real reason that they push their grift, because they're trying to win a culture war. Now, this is not all Christians. This is the fundamentalist apologists, right? They're the ones that are like caught up in this culture war ideology. And most Christians aren't like that. Most Christians are just, they're just living their life. They go to work. They take care of their family. They just trust that everything will work out okay. They have that kind of faith. And they're not trying to change this world. We're looking forward to a better, different world, right? And so they just mostly leave people alone. And those are the Christians I'm like cool with. I'm like, I don't got a problem with that. I don't like that they indoctrinate their children. If they do, that's a different issue. But in terms of like what they bring to the political arena or what they bring to my life, like as long as they're leaving people alone, I'm cool with them.
Does anybody remember what the numbers are? Like, I thought the numbers were really high in the United States as far as them, the number of people believing that the Earth is 10,000 years old. I thought that number was really high.
On some polls, it was like the evangelical Christians were like 30%, and the creationists probably around 15% or 20, something like that.
Yeah, I think that's like, it depends on where they poll too, because if you poll the Bible Belt, the numbers are going to be a lot higher, or the Bible Belt, or like the Mormon territories. But like in really populated areas that lean left, like there's not nearly as much of that.
Oh my God!
So in other words, we're at what 45% in in the country, and only 15% of those are
Something
young
like
Earth.
that, yeah.
Is that about
Yeah,
that? Okay.
they're definitely a minority among Christians. So, but
Yeah.
but the thing is that if like there was that homeschooling conference in Canada, and I guess 80% of the presentations were young Earth creationism. So they've kind of taken over that
Yeah.
homeschooling niche,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
really unfortunate and bad because
Sure.
Yeah. They're the ones that want to homeschool
Yeah.
because of that, because of the fact that they don't like what's being taught. Yeah.
Right. That whole no part of the world thing.
so Deconverted Man had this study, secret experiment trick psychiatrists into diagnosing sane people as having schizophrenia. I used to trick my psychiatrist into all sorts of diagnoses because I first of all I'd figure out what drug I wanted him to prescribe to me.
Oh, oh
And,
my gosh.
and then I would go in and find out, what it treated, and then I would like find the symptoms, and I would go and give him a very convincing thing, and I would get the drug that I wanted. And this is really, really kind of a funny story. There was this one psychiatrist who was prescribing all kinds of meth to me, like uppers, and then downers, and every goddamn thing you could imagine. And I was seeing him for about 4 years. Well,
Wow.
in 1974, I was rocketed into treatment for alcoholism. And in the treatment center, you had to do something called a 4-step, basically, and a 5th step, which was, part of the AA program, but they rushed you through it in treatment to justify charging $30,000 for your stay. And the guy that did my 5th step was the one and the same the psychiatrist that I got all my drugs from. So basically, he was my drug dealer. And there was a nurse present, and there was a psychiatrist, and they were listening to me. And one of the things that I confessed to, I said, I got to confess to you that I was conning you the whole time to get all these drugs. And boy, did he get pissed off at me.
Oof.
He was because I
Whoa.
embarrassed the hell out of him in front of this nurse. And I didn't realize, I was sincerely apologizing to him for conning him out of all these drugs. But he was like, "You're just a kid from the Iron Range. You can't con me out of drugs." It's like, oh my God, he was mad. And he was just going on about it. Like
Wow.
he didn't even believe that I didn't have the symptoms that I had made up. It was like, this is my professional career here at stake, right? I mean, you can't possibly have fooled me. I'm a trained psychiatrist. It's like, oh, I'm a trained fucking drug addict. I can fool anybody. Screw you.
Yeah, I think that would have went over better if you would have said it to him privately than in front of somebody.
Yeah, but I was like a 24-year-old kid and a little naive, I didn't really understand how academia worked and all that stuff. I didn't know about any of that stuff.
So you were 24 when you did that? Yeah.
Yep. And I'd had a history with this guy that went
young.
back to when I was like 18. And I got so many drugs out of this man. He was like the best drug dealer ever. Pharmaceutical, clean.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I just want to point out, as a special treat to everybody today, I'm sitting further away from my microphone than I normally do, so that people don't have to sit here and listen to me breathe. And I just want to make sure everybody appreciates that.
That is so true. What Bree wrote about Hoven's, videos. It's so true. You hear a lot of people in the community, they grew up learning from Hoven's videos in their homeschooling.
Yeah.
Tons of people in this community have said that.
Right. So, do you guys agree that that's a form of child abuse, whether the parents realize it or not?
I believe it is, but so many people will disagree with that.
Mhm.
But myself, I think it is.
I remember when Rebecca from Bread of Life was really, really upset with me for saying that that's child abuse, and understandably so. Apparently, she has kids and raised them that way. So I get it. I wasn't trying to accuse her of that, but yeah, by implication, automatically she's being accused. But it was interesting because Cy You guys know who Psy is, right? I can't remember his last name, but he.
Scientific
Which-
Brigham.
Yeah,
Brig-
yeah. So he went on the stream and had a discussion, and he agreed with me. Now he's a Christian, but he agrees with me that if you tell your children something that is false and that is potentially destructive to their adult journey, then that counts as child abuse. And so he conceded basically, if I was right about Christianity, then that would be child abuse. But since he thinks Christianity is true, it's really the only reason he thinks it's not child abuse.
It's right, yeah.
And so
Even my wife disagrees with me. She doesn't think it is child abuse.
all right. Yeah, even
Which is-
a lot of atheists are divided on that issue about whether or not we should go that far and call it child abuse or not.
They think what
Yeah.
happens at
Yeah.
the university level is child abuse. So
Yeah.
that
Exactly.
they take our kids and they tell them about that evolution stuff, and then they turn away from God. Well, they turn away from God because they realize you were lying to them, and that you were just batshit crazy. Now, if you had raised them in an old earth Christian tradition, that wouldn't have happened because they wouldn't have had a conflict when they went to college. And that's what these creationists do not understand about what they're doing. That if their goal is to keep kids in Christianity, then they got to drop this young earth creationist bullshit because it just doesn't work. When you think about it for more than 2 weeks, it don't work, and you realize it doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
Yeah, Dave wrote Cygart. Was it Cygart on?
I don't know. It was whoever sounds like Dennis Prager.
Cygart is an old earth creation.
Yeah, it was probably Cygart because she's had Cygart on there quite a bit.
Yeah, I don't think she said Burger.
Yeah, she doesn't agree with
Whatever.
Cygart at all because Cygart is an old earth creationist. So
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that's what I thought you were talking about Cygart at first, but then
Then Scott had to open his
Come up
big
with
stupid
Burger
mouth
King.
and say
Yeah, I
Brigham
know.
Gay. I can't
Yeah.
even pronounce that last name. I just sort of slurred it. Brigham Gay.
Brigham Gay.
Now I know
Yeah.
that Rebecca and Sal have been trying to bring Psy over to their young earth creationism, and
oh, of course,
and
yeah.
they spend a considerable amount of time on that. I have no idea if they've ever
Right.
succeeded with that or not, if he's been moving in their direction or not.
With
but
Cygart,
I don't
no,
keep
they
up
aren't
with
going to
it.
make any headway. Cygart's a little smarter than that.
Fair.
So he's a lot smarter than that. Now, the problem with Cygart is you got to get him over on basically, I think he thinks that the creation of eukaryotes was a miracle. He thinks there were punctuated miracles, I think, early on, but not afterwards. He believes in all of evolution after that. I don't know how he puts together Adam and Eve. I think he thinks Adam and Eve were a special creation among the hominids. There's a bunch of
That's
those.
what I used to believe for about 2 years.
That's
back
not
in the 90s.
That's not an unintelligent way to do it at all. I mean, if you're going to buy this shit, you've got to accept miracles.
Except I felt kind of dirty saying it because even then it just felt so much like special pleading.
Well, yeah, but I mean, they already believe in miracles, right? So why not
Believe in miracles? Sorry, that's a song.
Why not that miracle? I mean, why not just accept
find-
miracles? I mean, for God's sake.
Do you find in this community they don't talk about that, right? They're very hesitant to talk about miracles or to mention that, that was a miracle that, God created this or that, like you're saying, whether it's Adam and Eve or whether it's whatever, anything, the first living cell, anything, however, whatever, denomination, I guess, that they believe. They have to throw miracles in there somewhere, right? But yet they don't like to talk about that, and they don't.
I think they're a
mention
little
that
embarrassed
because it's clearly magic, right?
Right.
It's clearly magic,
Magic.
and they hate when you say that, right? You're gonna pin them down on it, and you're gonna say, "Well, that's magic," and they freak out about that.
I
right?
think they're embarrassed about the miracle.
Yeah, I think so
Actually
too. Yeah,
embarrassed.
I think so too. Yeah,
I agree.
and that's why they avoid talking about it. Yeah.
Sure. That's why they like to stay focused in the conversation about our beliefs, our perspectives,
Yeah.
our everything.
Yeah, they like to attack our stuff because of the fact that,
Yeah,
I
if
think
we're not
it
focusing
is.
on their bullshit, then they don't have to get exposed and embarrassed.
Right, yeah. Yep. But how the hell do you live your life like that? To be embarrassed about what you believe? That just makes no sense to me. Why? How
Well,
can you live a life like
cognitive
that?
dissonance. It's an interesting thing. Your brain is capable of a lot of cognitive dissonance. That when you have something that you're emotionally inclined to believe, you can do a great deal to basically gloss over the facts, and not think about them and go from one stage to another. And we've all done it in our lives.
Yeah.
Here's a thought question for the group: if believing in something you knew were not true granted you happiness and well-being, would you believe? Why or why not? God, because I'm such a scientist, I couldn't. But what I would do is I would just use it as a totem. And I can do that with my mind. I can I can focus on something that isn't real, and I can alter my mental state as a result of it without worrying about whether it's true or not. It doesn't need to be. Every year you get these AA medallions for being sober for so many years, right? And I'll put mine in my pocket, and when I grasp it, it puts me in a state of mind of thinking about my sobriety and how important it is, and all of that comes to me, and I know the medallion doesn't have any power at all.
Damn.
But the fact that I use it as a focus for my mind, it's just a technique to make your brain do something. But when it comes
right,
to
and now
I understand the neuroscience of what I'm doing, right?
Right.
Now, see the way he framed that question. It says, would you believe something that you knew was not true? I don't know if I'm
Yeah, I don't know if
capable
by
of that.
definition
I
you
don't know
I don't
can't.
even know if
how.
that's
Yeah,
possible.
how could you even?
It's not possible.
Yeah, I don't think so either. That's why I brought that
Well,
up.
let's see. No, I've been able to do that too because, like me and my friend Mac, when we were 16 years old, we actually became Catholics for a summer, and we made ourselves believe it. But I mean, we had this executive somewhere in our minds that pulled us back out of it at the end of the summer because that's what we agreed to. But during the summer, we were very much inside of that belief. And we were Catholics, and we studied the Bible, and we saw God in the clouds, and we had all these experiences, and we did it, and we did it on purpose because of Ellen Watts. He basically gave us the idea for this thought experiment. But you can immerse yourself in an unreality to the point where you can slide over the details, and you can actually start to believe it for a while. And it's just mental gymnastics, and it's a skill that you can learn. You can learn to believe in things that are not true, I think.
I think you could go through a systematic process where you start with something that you know isn't true, that you've decided you want to believe in, and then systematically brainwash yourself or psych yourself into it. You would have to immerse yourself in a culture where these ideas are being ramified. You'd have to isolate yourself away from and polarize yourself against people that speak the truth. And I think it'd be a process, but I think maybe gradually you could kind of psych yourself into or hypnotize yourself into a state that you knew wasn't true. But man, it would be a process. You couldn't just on a dime just decide suddenly to believe a thing you knew wasn't
Yeah,
true.
when you watch
Yeah.
a movie, you kind of get into it like it's really happening, like you're witnessing a
Yeah.
true story. So we are capable of that.
That's known as the willing suspension of disbelief, and
Yeah,
it's required for
suspension.
any kind of fictional literature.
Yeah,
Right. So when
you can become skilled at it. I mean, it's a skill that you can practice, and you can.
it is, and the freak has that skill. I had a 3.5 hour discussion with the freak on my channel here a couple months ago, and he admitted toward the end of that stream that he knows that Christianity doesn't make sense on its face, and that you have to want it to be true, and then you have to hypnotize or psych yourself into it. He admitted all this on his own accord, and I left that stream up for anybody that wants to sift through it. But it's the most honest conversation I've ever had with a Christian. But I think I'm pretty good at having conversations with Christians if I'm allowed to have it one-on-one.
So this is a picture of Snack. He woke me up at 3:50 a.m. this morning, and he wouldn't take no for an answer. But anyway, if I get down on the floor on my hands and knees, he will go around and crawl in between my legs and come up under my chin. And then if I like crouch down on the floor so that I'm kind of squishing him, sort of, he loves that.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll sit there as long as I can hold myself up. So he's kind of like an exercise program and an alarm clock.
He's good for the abs.
Yeah, but he always wants to crawl under me and under pillows, and he loves being under shit. It's pretty cool.
Mm.
So I took a picture of him.
Good. So yeah, I'm starting the YMCA membership for this coming month. I'm gonna start using their pool and their facilities. I went and got my bivalent vaccination booster today, and so give that a few weeks to work, and then I'm gonna start going to the Y.
Let's see, I think August. I had mine in September, October, November. What comes next? December, January? Ooh, I'm due.
September, October, November, December.
So you can get one every 6 months, right? A vaccination?
Probably. I'm not sure. I hadn't had one in a year, so I knew I was due.
So yeah. So I'm actually 2 months overdue, and I don't like that. So
yeah.
What the hell was it? That JG censorship exists or whatever, his channel.
Yeah.
He had a whole bunch of stuff on Corona, and they were like, he would have the video and they would take it down right after he was done. And I commented in one of the videos, I've been, vaxxed like 4 or 5 times. And I feel I haven't been sick since 2019. Not a single day. And he said, well, be careful, Mike. Be careful. You never know when that vaccine's going to get you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that what's his the guy that comes on, he comes on this channel every now and then. Christ brings a sword.
Yeah.
That guy.
Yeah.
He was over, and when I was watching the video earlier today on SFTs there, he's got 100 comments going, and he's mentioned, every other comment he's mentioning the vaccine. He's mentioning Trump. He thinks Trump's the Messiah. And I mean, that guy's, he's just an absolute lunatic, that guy.
Sure.
Yep. Takes a lot of crazy. Unfortunately.
Right. Command Cyborg says, remember to hit that like button and such, good people. But I do it in reverse now. I tell people to remember to hit the dislike button on their way out on my streams.
Right.
Yeah, that guy, he loves to threaten, he loves to threaten people, or any atheists and chats and stuff. He's constantly saying, you're going to burn in a lake of fire and all that garbage. He loves doing that.
Sure. I don't think he really thinks he's going to convert anybody that way. It's just,
Yeah, no. He just has a disdain for atheists, I'm sure.
Sure.
He definitely doesn't like us, that's for sure.
What do we got here?
I just can't believe somebody could not love us. We're just huggable, lovable atheists.
I know.
Man.
Like,
we are.
Teddy bears.
I am. I'm a big teddy bear. I'm like a big roly-poly teddy bear, soft and squishy with a little bit of hair. But that's me.
I tell you where it's from. China. That's from where Corona comes. One side. It arrived on Tuesday. It flew over here on a bassam due day. I put it in stir fry, I give it to the guests. I sew it on Nike, I cook it in the mess. I wash it in dry cream, give it to Markov. No one suspect me cause I had small cock. Yeah, he's scared.
Oh boy.
Oh my gosh.
Oh boy.
What the hell is that?
Oh,
where is that? What channel is that?
That is it's Rucka. It's
That wasn't-
Rucka. Is the name of the channel. So,
Oh.
I have mixed feelings about that.
I
On one hand,
Yeah.
it's hilarious,
Okay.
and on the other hand, it's not supposed to be hilarious because that's kind of racist.
okay, it came from Deconverted Man, so there's that.
I don't know.
Yeah, that,
Yeah.
I just
warning.
don't know how I feel
warning,
about it.
Right.
It's one of those things where
Now, who else does the like the rap stuff? Is it B.S. Lewis that does that? Who? He does the singing
Maybe
on his
yeah.
channel.
I don't know.
I think.
Okay, I'll
pretty
put
sure
this in the description.
That's who I thought that came from. You know,
Excuse
I
me for
didn't know.
interrupting,
Yeah.
but are we able to do audience polls?
I never figured out.
I don't think we can. I think you have to have a certain
1,000 subs. Yeah.
something like that. Yeah.
We're never gonna climb.
Remember, Bree.
But you can-
it's great that you come over here and say hi to us little peons, but we're just the small flies of the YouTube world. We're like little gnats.
So Bree, I bought you some bugs. Did you see that I bought you some bugs? And I
don't have an answer for that. Is there something else I
shut
can
the
help with?
fuck up.
Well, I think Siri's jealous, and now she's talking.
Talking to Bree, and Siri got jealous. So Bree, I bought you some bugs, and I want you to name them all after me. You got to name one speed of sound, one speed of sound of gravity, one mic, one dickhead, whatever. That's my ex-wife used to call me is dickhead. So that's like kind of her pet name for me. Dickhead, asshole.
Yeah.
You spent my bug money. What'd you buy? What did you buy with my bug money? Good. I'm glad you did.
I hope you bought bugs.
You bought bugs, yeah.
So I'll be quitting my social media, my Facebook soon.
Really?
And so I made a post about it today. And actually, you know what? I want to share this. Hold on one second. I want to share this because this really sums up like the relationship I have with people in my social media. Hold on one second. Here we go. Sharing that. Let me know when you're ready, and I'll refresh it. This is. I'm the guy in the white hat serving up stuff on Facebook.
Yep.
And every once in a while, somebody is a Jackie Chan for me, but most of the people that come through my Facebook are Chris Tuckers. So let me know when you're ready.
Ready.
Okay.
Damn, Chin. Some greasy shit. You ain't got no better food like some chicken wings, some baby back ribs, some fries or something?
Chinese food, no soul food here.
I didn't say nothing about no soul food. I said you got some better food. I don't want that greasy shit. How you gonna sell a big box of grease?
Chini
what?
Come on. I'm no punk bitch.
I ain't no punk bitch neither.
I'm no
I'll
punk
come back there
bitch.
and knock that head off.
That's why you're quitting?
Yeah, that's the relationship I have with people in my channel. Every once in a while, somebody's a Jackie Chan. They stop by for a little bit, they say thanks, they walk away. No big deal, right? But most of the people are like, what the fuck is this shit? I ain't here for this. And even atheists are like that. And I'm like, I know punk bitch. And they're like, I know punk bitch. And I'm like, that's been amusing for about 8 years, but I'm done with it. So I'm closing shop. That's where I'm at.
Yep.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
Oh, deconverted nun images. I wonder if ChatGPT has any. I don't know. Let's see. Search the internet for deconverted nun images.
Here are some images of deconverted nun from the web.
Oh, no. Oh, wait a minute. This is deconverted man. Why did I fall for something that deconverted man gave me?
Don't ever click.
Oh, they ain't too bad.
Don't ever click.
A Jewish nun, a Catholic convert. Let's see what else we got here. Ooh, that's a cool one. I have no idea why you wanted me to search for that, but Bing has a few. Oh, wow, a nun with a gun. I like that. She got a Glock.
There's nothing more fun than a nun with a gun.
Nun with a gun.
Nuns are hot. Young to middle age. Well, nuns in their 30s and 40s are hot.
I can't tell because I have to see a girl's hair before I decide that. So.
You're right. I remember like being at a Catholic hospital in Arkansas one time and got in the elevator and there was a very pretty nun. I was very conflicted, but then I realized, hey, I'm not a Catholic. It doesn't matter if I lust against the person or not. So, okay, I guess I shouldn't have said that out loud.
Oh my god. Oh, there's a bug named Speed. It looks like a gnarly spider. That's pretty cool. Awesome. I wonder if I can open with zip extractor, image pane, download. Down.
Nerdy Rodent says there's nothing quite like being naughty, and someone else getting the blame for it. Deconverted Man says I used to be addicted to telling nun jokes, but thankfully I broke the habit.
What do we got here? Ooh, it's a bug. It's a bug. And its name is Speed. Cool. You did name it after me.
Nice.
I appreciate that. It looks pretty gnarly.
I don't even want to think about what kind of bug somebody would name after me.
That's a spider, I think.
Is that a? Yeah, I was gonna say. It looks like a spider, right?
It looks spidery.
Yeah.
I want to know if Bree ever gets bit by the spiders or scorpions or anything else.
I don't want to know. I'm afraid to ask. Amblypidgid. Amblypidgid. Oh, cool. Let me check that out. Oh, wiki that. Anyway, I'm getting kind of shooter in the headish.
Yeah, that's reasonable.
Well, now you know what you can do you can sign up for that program for depression if you're feeling like shooting yourself in the head. But okay, I want to just shut up. I really should not have talked today. Man, Scott's such a downer.
Every now and then I think about how easy that would be. Like, what I hate is when every time I go to the edge of a high building or a high cliff, I always think one step. That's all it would take.
Oh, do you consider those thoughts intrusive and troubling?
No.
Okay.
I consider them the whole truth. Well, no. You know, it's like I like to examine all of the different sides of the issue, right? And I consider that one side of the issue. You know, I could do that one step, and then I could go wee. I could go wee all the way down, and that would be fun. Or I could like say all kinds of. I could make all the silly faces that I'm too embarrassed to make on the way down, right? In normal life, or you know, whatever. Like me and my friend Mac, back in 1970, we did acid, and we were on this roof, standing on the edge, and we started talking about, you know, we could just step off, and then, you know, we could, you know, hug each other and slap each other on the back, you know, on the way down, because we refused to touch each other, because our high school principal circulated a rumor that we were gay. So we were, you know, we were teenagers in 1960, right? Something.
Wow.
And so we would never touch each other, but it's like we really were like soulmates in every way. And it's like, yeah, we could do all the things that, you know, we can't do normally. We could do it on the way down. And we were having that conversation, well, ripped on acid. And of course, acid doesn't make you think stupid things or do stupid things. So we stepped back off the roof and went inside and listened to some Pink Floyd Animals, I think it was.
Yeah, in that particular era, that wouldn't have been a good rumor, even if it were true, let alone if it were not true. Like, in that particular era, there wasn't really any tolerance for that.
Yeah, and it was embarrassing for us with, you know, our peers who happened to be females that we were interested in.
I mean, I would have turned it into a joke as a way to deal with it.
Yeah.
And we would have had like a running dialogue between us. We'd be like, hey, let's go stand in line and sharpen our pencils together. No homo. And then like everything would no homo, no homo. Everything. Let's go have lunch, no homo.
Yeah, the reason they thought that is because instead of playing sports, we'd walk around in circles around the school and we'd talk, you know, during lunch hour. And everywhere you saw us, we would be talking, you know, the two of us.
Oh, is that why he started the rumor?
Yeah, he thought that we were gay. Because
men don't talk. Manly men don't talk.
No, they don't talk that much. No, they play sports and they throw balls at each other and play in the dirt.
And grunt.
We probably could have stopped and punched each other in the face a couple of times.
Yeah, I know.
So often, and okay, they're okay. They're okay.
Well, our elementary school principal put us in detention because we weren't playing sports during recess. So,
Wow.
and that was in 6th grade. He made us sit on this bench and face forward and not talk and not do anything. We couldn't move for 1 hour. And then when he let us back out in the playground, our instructions were that we had to participate in physical activity. So me and Mac got on the swings and we started swinging, right? And talking on the swings. And then we decided to do this crazy thing where I would crawl up on the slide with my swing. And then when Mac would swing by, I would fly off and swing in between him. And we'd end up colliding and hitting and doing all kinds of crazy shit. And then Marshall then came out and said, detention again. He put us in detention again. He didn't like our physical activity that we'd come up with. So we came up with this form of gymnastics. I mean, those
You can just imagine how much time Jesus and the apostles would have spent in detention. Just walking around talking all the time and oiling each other's feet and nuzzling each other's bosom.
Yeah.
Detention.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you know what that reminds me of? The guy from The Simpsons. That's a paddling. That's a paddling.
That would have been a physical activity if me and Mac had oiled each other's feet. That would have helped, right?
Oh, you know what would have been fun? Because I used to get spanked when corporal punishment was a thing. I should have pretended to be a gay kid who liked spanking.
Yeah.
And that would have made the principal so uncomfortable he wouldn't have spanked me. I didn't even think of it at the time.
Do it again, master. Do it again.
Come on, big boy. Give me it. Give me a hard. He would have been like, fuck this. I'm not paddling this kid. Oh, my gosh. Too late now.
Oh, that principal.
Missed my opportunity.
That principal gave me a spanking once. And with his hand, right? And when his hand landed on my butt, he would wiggle it a little bit back and forth.
Oh, yeah.
And then reach out and hit you again and then wiggle it. It was like, kind of weird, right?
That was pretty standard, I think. That's how I got it.
He kind of gave me a little feel every time he hit me. And it was like, you know, and I like to think that was because he really cared about me. Right.
Right. The spank around.
Yeah.
Instead of the reach around, the spank around.
The spank around.
Speaking of that, Praise was being a little homophobic in SFT's chat in that video that I was watching too. Of course, he was, you know, he's done the flip. He's been, you know, he puts out all kinds of shorts and stuff. And he's been talking about one of his buddies, I think Ryan Presbyterian there, and he's calling him a flip-flopper. Can you imagine Praise calling somebody else a flip-flopper? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
The irony.
Praise doesn't know whether he's coming or going every day, I swear.
So which debate was that? So that was live. So I could capture the chat on that and take a look. Oh, T-Rock and Professor, Grayson. T-Rock.
Yeah, Praise he was basically, he wrote in the chat that, you know, he must have switched over to Young Earth, I think. Because, or he doesn't believe in, or he rejects evolution, because I think the comment was that evolution was gay, basically. And he, you know, he put a flag, you know, the flag there,
is gay.
you know, representing that evolution was gay. Yeah.
Oh God, this jerk
Praise.
is getting 1.7K views on these crappy debates with these.
Hey, go ahead and grab that.
I'm surprised he's even, like, you know, it's pretty easy for him to get the creationists to get on there, but I'm surprised he hasn't ran out of atheists because of the fact that these people are just wasting
Grayson
time,
is debating NephilimFree tonight. Yeah.
No. On SFT.
I don't know. I got a notice for it. I'd have to look at my my YouTube stuff.
Oh boy. Does he know what he's getting into? He's really into these debates, boy. He's doing a lot of them. Obviously he
Well, his
likes it.
channel's
So
growing
hey, if he
too, so
enjoys,
that's good. Your channel grows when you do
yeah,
a lot of debates.
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, if he enjoys it,
I
I guess
thought
there's nothing wrong
I
with that.
thought
But
about
does
doing
this
debates.
Yeah,
be a waste of time, though, right? I mean,
I
especially
can't.
Well, I mean,
Neffy. Ugh.
Mark Reid was pretty nice about it, but he let me know I'm not good at debates, so I'm not gonna
Let
try
me
to get
check
into
and
it.
see if that's on Grayson's channel because I don't want to watch it on SFT's channel. Grayson.
Mark's been doing a lot of debates too.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's also a glutton for punishment, debating
Yeah.
Holbend and all that crap.
Yeah.
And I prefer having discussions anyways. I could just never get Christians to come on my channel to have those discussions.
Yeah.
The freak so far is the only one.
Well, I'd like to get Christians over here. I don't know why they don't come because we've always been very, very respectful to Christians.
Yeah.
I don't think we've ever given a Christian a hard time on this channel. And they had a hard time on some channels. A real
Well,
hard.
except for what's his name? The Brazilian
Douchebag.
Douche
yeah.
Canoe, Otangelo.
Yeah. I never see him anymore ever. Do you guys ever see him around at all?
He's probably writing books now that he learned he could like post them up on Amazon for $9.
Hey, do you know what else we don't see anymore? We don't see a John Maddox.
Yeah, he's disappeared, huh? What's up with that?
Yeah, and he won't even respond to my emails, which is kind of weird.
Wow.
But I think the emails associated with his YouTube channel, I wonder if his channel is even still up.
Well, what we'll need to do is get some images of his face and see if we can do a facial recognition search.
Yes,
because he may be under a totally different name, totally different email account, and he might be on YouTube. He might be somewhere else. So we might have to do a.
He might be doing atheism videos now under a new name because
he could be. Because
when that man talked about it, every time I heard him talk about God and Christianity, it was like, well, I don't go to church, I don't do this, I don't do that. I don't think he was a real Christian. I think he was doing it for grift.
Well, he could also have moved to Christian nationalism too. It could go either way. I mean, he's in Tennessee. He's in Tennessee.
Yeah, he was pretty gun-ho with that channel. I mean, he was really trying to build it, and then all of a sudden he just came to a crashing end. He just stopped. And
well, yeah, anything can happen, in your life to make you suspend something that you've enjoyed doing.
Yeah, so, absolutely.
Who knows?
I can't find this NephilimFree thing now with Grayson.
Something definitely happened.
Is it on Modern Day Debate?
Bree says she sees him on Twitter, I guess.
I thought they wouldn't let Nephilim back on Modern Day Debate.
Yeah, I didn't think. Yeah, I don't think he's allowed on there anymore.
I thought he was.
What did he do? What did he do to get kicked off? Remind me.
Well, he quit.
He quit. Yeah.
He and Chen without saying a word. He didn't say anything. He just quit.
Yeah, he did that several times too. That wasn't the only time he did that. He did that several times, and James had enough of that.
I cannot find any upcoming. Oh, here it is. Upcoming. Here we go. Oh, yeah, it is on Standing for Truth.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Well, he'll rebroadcast it later.
Yeah, so wait until
he puts it on his channel.
Rebroadcast it.
Which should be the next day, right? I think he usually puts it right up the next day, I think.
Yeah.
Well, within 2 days, for sure.
So Bree mentioned one of the reasons, and I think that's probably the leading cause of why people just all of a sudden quit YouTube.
And what was that?
They fall in love with Bree, can't deal with it.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's a very strong element, I'm sure.
Yeah.
It's common.
Happens to the best of us.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to put that in my description.
Yeah, something had to have happened in John's life to, his...
Maybe he met a woman.
Outside life just made him leave for some
I think he was having trouble making money on anything having to do with YouTube, and he found something else to do because he started he's founded a whole bunch of failed startups.
Right. Yep.
Make money. He's one of those entrepreneurs that eventually he'll find something that makes money. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bree has no regrets. She's not a player. She just crushes a lot.
That's right. She's She's getting revenge for all those bugs that humans have crushed. By crushing the hearts of men.
She crushes them.
Yes.
That's
I
right.
have to confess, Bree, I killed 11 wasps in my room.
Oh, you're next.
Ooh.
You're next, Speed.
Ooh.
Oh, and then I had the insecticide guy out, and he probably killed another 1,000.
Yeah, you must have had a nest inside the house somewhere, right?
I think they were in the
somewhere.
walls.
Yeah.
Because I saw a few of them crawling out of my light fixture, and what they are is queens looking for a nest, and
yeah,
they're not particularly aggressive, but you could step on them and fucking run into them.
Yeah.
You want to have some fun, do some mushrooms, and run into a couple of wasps running around your room if you want to get freaked out.
Oh, no, thank you.
Hey, I got a question for the panel here, real quick.
Which one?
And anybody in the side chat could respond to. Last night I watched a horror movie that I don't know that it was considered that great, but I really enjoyed it just because it was a stormy, rainy night, and I just wanted to watch a horror movie. And it was called
cute?
It was called the. Say what?
Was she cute?
No. In fact, there were no cute people in it.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Anyway, it was called The Ritual. And I don't know how many people have seen it. If you haven't seen it, I recommend seeing it because it's a little bit different twist on the horror genre.
I think I have.
Yeah. But I was wondering if anybody knew of any horror type movies or just creepy movies or fantasy movies that are kind of like The Ritual in nature. Yeah. Thank you, Bree. I'm glad thank you for affirming that choice because I thought it was really good. The Entity. Okay, I'll see if I can find The Entity. It was wicked cool, but I think it's behind a paywall and I can't pay for.
Okay, it's 2017. That film.
I think so. Yeah, it was really good. It's about 4 dudes who go on a camping trip and decide to take a shortcut through the woods in Norway,
Okay.
And fun ensues.
Yeah, I tagged it or.
Brokeback Mountain.
Brokeback
Mountain. Kinda.
I put a that's on my list, but I put it on my list a long time ago. I haven't watched it. But
yeah, The Ritual is good.
Yeah, in fact, we should go watch that right now. That's what we should do. We should get out of here.
What it has elements of Norse mythology a little bit in it, and that's kind of cool. I like that.
Okay.
I like it too.
We should shoot her in the head.
We should.
Let's do that.
You see, I changed my name.
I know. Your own personal Jesus. That's a really cool song. I like the Johnny Cash version.
I didn't talk about how atheists are superior in every way, but we'll get to that in the next stream. So
yeah, this is like the preamble.
Yeah.
The prolegomena to the superiority of atheists.
Right. Yeah. Oh, Midsummer. That was a creepy fucking movie.
That was a really creepy fucking movie, and I saw it recently. But yeah, Midsummer's a really good one.
Yep, and I still think that Artifice Girl is the creepiest movie, given what's going on with Google and Microsoft these days.
A little closer to reality.
Yep, way too close to reality. So, okay, guys, we're gonna shoot her in the head. Any objection?
Yeah, we're gonna shoot her in the head, and I probably will stream later on today after I do a couple things.
Okay.
Always look forward to that, James.
Yep.
I appreciate it.
Goodbye.